Hey guys, welcome back to the Husker Rundown. I'm your host, Connor O'Gara, joined by Nathan Hart. Nathan, a little bit different atmosphere here at Memorial Stadium. Huskers get a 56-13 win over Southern Miss. This is kind of what Husker fans were expecting to see last week, but they get a performance like this week. Really, there's kudos to be given all around for a performance like this, but at the same time, it's Southern Miss. So what stood out to you in a game like this?
Yeah, this was a good performance for Nebraska, but anytime you evaluate a game like this, you just have to start off by saying you got to take it with a grain of salt. And just like you don't want to overreact to, say, one game against Wyoming, you cannot overreact to a 56-13 win over Southern Mississippi, which hasn't won since 2011. So that just has to be thrown out there first, that whatever we say, we'll try to qualify it of playing Southern Miss, which makes a team like Texas State look good.
Perspective is everything.
Yeah, perspective is key with this game. But I think there were still some good things offensively and defensively.
Stanley Jean-Baptiste got the game started with a pick six. That was a minute and 30 seconds into this game, and that set the tone defensively for what this team was able to do tonight. 4 interceptions for this team. Alan Bridgeford did not have an easy night, was harassed, absolutely harassed by Randy Gregory, had 4 hits on the quarterback. And Randy Gregory provided something that the Huskers did not have last week. He gave them pressure, and they needed it badly. They only had 1 sack tonight, but this is a team that needed to come out and show that they can give the quarterback a little bit of uneasiness. He talked about that, about how last week he learned so much just from a game-to-game basis. This is a junior college kid, broke his leg last year and was out for the entire 2012 season. And really, this kid showed that he is capable of getting to the quarterback, and that's something they're going to need to do next week too.
Yeah, this was a tone-setting game for the defense, and all the defensive players after the game were talking about how the Wyoming game woke them up. And
really did.
It may be a little disappointing that it takes a game to wake up the defense and make them think about what they're doing, but there was clearly something different mentally, just emotionally with the defense for most of the game. The one hesitation is that there were some lapses, and obviously you're going to take advantage of just the opportunities you have playing Southern Miss. You're going to get interceptions. You're going to take advantage of just a weaker opponent like that, and those were all good plays. But they also had an occasional lapse or two, which against Southern Miss, not a big deal. You know, giving up that 41-yard touchdown pass early in the second half, just a bit of lapses that Pelini was talking about after the game. These are things that they're still going to have to clean up. And there's a good team coming into town next week.
It's a really good team.
And they can't be making those mistakes. And again, they're covered up by the score. They're covered up by the impressive interceptions, which were good plays. But there were still a handful of things that need to be cleaned up before next week.
And a storyline that unfolded before our eyes. 2 freshmen, true freshmen, starting at linebacker tonight. You had Josh Banderas getting the start at middle linebacker, that's a tough thing for anybody to do, much less a true freshman. And then you had Nathan Geary starting at linebacker. This is something that we didn't know about necessarily during the week. Obviously, they knew in-house. Banderas had the comment after the game. I don't know if we want to say that, but let's just say he wasn't exactly expecting to get the start in this game. And even on the big screen here before the game, David Santos was the announced starter, so they wanted to keep this private in-house. Didn't want true freshmen getting overhyped, and I think their performance really showed it was expected. But some of the things that they did, Banderas had a couple plays where they definitely attacked him in the passing game, tried to test that mobility. But at the same time, he was able to make some tackles and get involved. He was more of a leader than Ciante Evans had a comment after the game. He was really impressed with Banderas' leadership, and that's something that for a true freshman to be barking out calls to a bunch of seniors and upperclassmen like that's a tough thing to do. So he did fall into that role.
Yeah, and that's hard to do. And one thing Banderas was asked about after the game was just about the speed of the game, the transition from high school play to college play.
Tough.
And he said it wasn't. The game itself doesn't feel fast. He said it's football. You know, the speed of the game came in watching game film and practice before the season. He said he's very comfortable. He was very confident. He was saying he was very comfortable with the speed of the game, which is a good sign from a freshman linebacker and someone the Huskers are going to see for 4 years.
Yeah, and defensively, you know, everybody wants to talk about what this team did. Ciante Evans had 2 interceptions, and really that's going to be the headliner. But worth noting that the offense got back on track after having not a week that they wanted last week. Taylor Martinez had 3 touchdown passes in this game. Amir Abdullah rushed for 116 yards and a pair of scores. The offense got on track a little bit, so to speak. Sam Birch also first career catch as a Husker was a touchdown catch and a very good one. So really, the offense got what it wanted to see in a game like this. Taylor Martinez came out in the middle of the third quarter, probably stemmed a little bit because of that left shoulder injury he was dealing with last week. So you got to see Kellogg, you got to see Armstrong, and you got to see maybe a little glimpse at the future. I know Husker fans were looking at the thought of a speed option in the future, so that's a little bit further down the road, but at least got to get a look at guys that we're probably not going to see come Big Ten play. So really interesting performances all around.
And the thing with having a good team like Nebraska has, you're going to have glorified practices like this, and that's expected with the regular season. But it was interesting at post-game press conference, and the questions about UCLA started getting asked today.
Yep.
It wasn't Monday or Tuesday; it was today, where even last week, people were asking about UCLA. And if the Wyoming offense was scary, the UCLA offense is much, much better, and they bring in Brett Hundley next week, and just a dynamic quarterback, able to make all kinds of plays. He's going to test the Nebraska defense like none other, and UCLA came out with the win last year, and it's going to take an epic performance from the Nebraska defense to keep this game close.
We're expecting a shootout. I made the comment during the game that would Husker fans have opposed John Papuchis just going in the locker room, get ready for next week, because, well, UCLA's already got a leg up on the Huskers in that aspect because they have been preparing this for a week. They had kind of an odd non-conference bye week this weekend, so they have had 2 weeks. They will have had 2 weeks to prepare for this Husker offense and what they're going to go against with the Husker defense too.
And the one maybe weak link of UCLA is their defense. They're young, a little bit like Nebraska, so. Last week, my high school won an 81-78 game, and we may see a score close to that next week.
Yeah, expect some points. If you're coming to Memorial Stadium, do not expect to see a low-scoring ball game. Points will not be at a premium next week. Yeah. So we will be here. It's going to be an early one for us, a quick turnaround with that 11 a.m. kickoff, but we're looking forward to it. Going to be on ABC next week at 11 a.m. Nathan, should be a fun one. A lot of points scored. Who knows what's going to happen?
A good early indicator to see what these Huskers are all about.
Should be. So for Connor O'Gara, Nathan Hart, this has been the Husker Rundown. We'll see you next week, guys.